And we are live. Hi, everybody. This is RJ Ogren on Paintings and Stories with RJ Ogren. Tell your friends we're on. Share this with everybody. I'm going to do going to do a little bit different today. I'm actually going to do some sketching. You can see this behind me. It's Anton and Remy, and it should be a lot of fun. And I've got some surprises coming up. Next week, we have a guest, actually a guest on the show. Hey, that's good. I like it. And it's been another crazy week. My weeks are all crazy. How about y'all? So anyway, because we have a guest coming on, you're seriously? Well, apparently this is my first guest. Will you get out of here? Thank you. So, and now after that little strange adventure, I'm going to have some coffee. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. So many weird things in my studio. Okay. And oh, see, I think I don't know if I've had this one on before, but I'll show it to you again. Yes, steamboat. Yes, love it. And good coffee. Yes, I am going to have a guest on next week. Good friends of ours, Pam and Ben, were over here just recently for a nice evening together. And Pam Turlow and Ben are both fellow actors. We do a lot of shows together, and on stage and off. And Pam has written her book called Mystical Mouse. And I told some of you about this on my sites to go take a look at it, buy her book, buy our books. So anyway, and that should be a lot of fun because she goes into some of the mystical qualities that created Disneyland, the layout of the park, etc. I'm not going to give too much away. You'll be able to actually ask questions during the show while we're talking. I'll be able to look at the side screen here. And, oh, Jeff, let's see what you say here. Just came off the Disney Dream Cruise, waiting at Orlando Airport, headed back to Chicago. Hey, all right, Chicago, it's where we are. Nice to watch you. Keeps my vacation going. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I hope you're having hope you had a great vacation, but we're going to extend it some more right now. And so anyway, but yes, about middle of the show next week, I will be doing some actual painting on that one. And Pam will come on in the last half of the show, the last half hour. So that should be a lot of fun. I am going to read a chapter from my book, Design of Fear. Get it right thing here. And our books, including Pam's and Suzanne's novel and the books that Suzanne and I have written about Disney, are available on Amazon. They're published by Theme Park Press. Okay, I've sold enough now. We can continue. But I did want to remind you, yes, I wrote myself notes, that there was a crazy Disney picture of Ryan and Stacy Lehman. They were here just this past week, had a wonderful evening with them, and they did some filming, which will be edited and soon be on YouTube. And it was in my studio and actually in Suzanne's study where she has a lot of Disney stuff and does her writing. And they had a little preview of it on their fun little show. So if you go to any of the group sites, or even on here, I believe it is too, and you see the crazy picture of them, and in the background you see the stretch room paintings that I did for them, then there's a link you can go on to, and you'll get a little bit of that, and you can see some close-ups and stuff of the studio. So, Brian, yes, loving the paintings. Great. I'm so glad to hear that. That would have been a shocker. Turn around and see that on the side. I hate the paintings, but no. Hi, Brian. I was just talking about you. Okay, now, and also one other announcement. Sunday the 28th at 2:30 p.m. At the Santori Public Library in Aurora. That's a state-of-the-art library, beautiful atrium area where we're going to be doing a presentation and a book signing, both. So it'll be like 1 hour long. We'll talk about Disney and some of the things that happened to us there, probably read 1 or 2 chapters from our books. So if you're in the Chicago area or anywhere nearby, please come. It should be a lot of fun and a wonderful afternoon. Look forward to seeing you all. And let's see, I've done that. And now I can actually do a little bit of drawing. Now, I was going to have this ready so that I could start painting a little bit, but as usual, I'm rushed. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 paintings sitting in my studio right now that I'm working on. So they're in various stages. Actually, I have a painting that's almost done, but I could be painting on that, but I can't show it because it's a surprise. So you won't get to see that painting until it's delivered and the surprise is over, and that's all I'm going to say. So now, what I've done is, this is for Sarah. Hi, Sarah. You're on there? I don't know if you're on today. But I am doing, obviously, Anton and Remy, and I'm going to be drawing in some chunks of cheese here. I've got a whole bunch of bottles of wine. Obviously, they have been celebrating for some time because he's even spilling his wine and has a silly grin on his face. And over on the side, I've got, looking through the door, I've got the other 2 looking out there and at the events. Now, when and this is the sketch that I sent originally. So when I tell you I'm going to send you a rough sketch, that's what it looks like. Get a little closer. So, yeah, and if you're interested in anything, commission painting, just send me a message on Facebook and I'll send you information. So I've gotten various pictures I printed out of the characters, and as I paint, this will vary some, but what I've got to do is straighten some things out here because I sketched this in real fast. This is one of my drafting, one of my old ones, obviously, because there's a lot of paint on it, and it's very big. So my 45-degree triangle, my 30-60. I actually started out in architecture at the University of Miami and worked for architects while I was in school. I thought I was going to be an architect until I hit calculus right over the head. So that's why I'm not an architect. But I do have a lot of drafting tools, and I do renderings and stuff. But this is great because I can set this on here and make sure my vertical and horizontal lines are straight. If you're drawing a picture or painting, a really neat little trick you can do is take the picture and go to a mirror in the back. Oh, I cut myself. Ow. I'm always cutting myself. But anyway, you can, if I say we're to hold this up and look at it at the reflection in the mirror, I might see it's all leaning in one direction, which it is slightly leaning to the right. I can see it. We tend to do that when we draw, lean the right or to the left, and that will tell you if your picture is straight. So obviously, when I'm painting, I got to make sure these lines are vertical. And what I have here are some columns that are behind them in the background. So I can put a straight line there, a straight line there, and I can do this. And you wondered, just how I was so good at doing straight lines. Now, does anybody have a question? Oh, well, that's nice, Ryan. Thank you. Wow. Want to be my agent? Oh, stop that. So, anyway, I'm saying a lot today. All right, stop it. Now, this is actually a fake column right here that is between these, and that's a light on the ceiling, or on the ceiling, on the wall. Strong coffee. But there is a light fixture here, and I'll just rough it in. And it's got 3 little lamps on it. There. These are the little lamp posts, and they have little shades. So we'll sketch those in. And there is another one over here. And what I can do is line this up with the edge of the canvas right here. Oh, you can't see the edge of the canvas. Just pretend it's the edge of the canvas. But anyway, I can draw a line across from those lights. The top of the shades, the bottom of the shades, there, and part of the base of the light. And then, yeah, okay. Shift over again. Then I can just continue that on over to the other column. These columns are against the wall, so they're nice decorative pieces. And then I can do another line there, and whoops, attack! I've got this, my easel standing perfectly straight right here, and so you can get a better view of this. When I paint, I tip the easel back a little bit. It's adjustable. It's more comfortable than painting it totally flat at you. But when I'm doing this, I'll do this so straight up. So what's happening is this wants to fall over. And you don't want that. So let's see, it's about 2.5 inches over here. And do this at 2.5. So I started posting on my sites. Oh, that's what I wanted to mention to you. Some of you already know and have already joined. I have 85 to 100 people have already joined. Please go on and join. I will try to click on more of you to automatically put you on. Is my new site, and it's called Paintings and Stories with R.J. Ogren. So in the next few weeks, when enough people are on there, I will start actually doing these shows right from that site, from that group site. So it's Paintings and Stories with R.J. Ogren. Please join. And it's so nice people are joining rapidly, or am I adding them rapidly? It's probably a bit of both. And again, we have on this side, we have the lamps. I'm just going to quickly sketch that. But at least now I've got it so it is lined up with this one horizontally. And then I also have, there's my little sketch here. Oh, see, I have this one picture here which shows some of the background I'm using. And there is a chair rail right about there. Chair rail, for those of you You probably all know this, but a chair rail is at the top of what is called wainscoting. Well, you can tell I was in architecture. Wainscoting is from the floor to the chair rail, and it a lot of times either painted a different color or actually has wood. Our house we had in Florida put wainscoting and chair rail throughout the entire house. So that's a little bit of an angle there. I have even used a square, a builder's square, to get straight lines. Which actually this is great because then I can do this and put it on the edge. See, the triangle is off, so I can straighten that out now. There we go. Oh, and watch this. I'm going to show you one other little thing here. Don't go away. Isn't this the neatest box? Look at that. Oh, there you go. I think you can see it now. I actually had a really, really neat Peter Pan watch for many years that we got at Disney World, and 45th anniversary limited edition it was, and I finally just wore the poor thing out, and then the crystal broke, so I don't have it anymore. I don't have a Peter Pan watch, but anyway, I use it now to keep my pink pearl erasers in, and the pink pearl erasers are great because they are excellent for erasing on canvas. So, I have so many things all over the place. So that's my eraser box. Excuse me, I'm going to have another sip of coffee. And one of my chocolate chip, anybody want a cookie? No, I don't want to eat a cookie while I'm talking to you. I make the chocolate chip cookies. I bake the cakes and decorate them, and I make the cookies. Suzanne makes all the other cookies. I only make chocolate chip cookies. That's my special recipe. Oh, really? It's a little bit different. So I'm going to do this again with this and do the floor line, which is here. Let's see, we see it a little bit there, and we see it there, and there will be a baseboard, which, let's see, about there, which would be pretty wide. It's like the baseboards in this house we have now are about this high. I love foothold houses. That's one of the reasons. And I can take that over to the door. That's straight across. And the door that they're looking through, I'll put a frame around it. So it's about the same there. There. So, and then I've got all these bottles. They're really partying away here. I was working late last night. And actually, those stretch paintings for, I'm doing a bottle of wine right here. I'm going to have Sarah, if you're listening, start taking pictures of the wine bottles you want me to use and send them to me. So, let's see, right about there. Bottom. This line right here is the table, which comes over here. around. Table this way. It's a curvy table. Yeah, there we go. This is the lamp over here on the table. He has another bottle of wine here. I'm going to have some bottles of wine that will be laying on the table. In fact, I should put one right here. So it's, yeah, the bottle laying on here. Can you sort of see that? And, okay. Hey, that's not bad. These are, part of the bottle is pretty straight. Ooh. Okay, the neck there. The neck is off on this one. I sketched this in real fast just before I went live. And these will probably change a little bit depending on the pictures of what bottles of wine she sends to me, because I'd like to have some different shapes and labels. And oh, he's got one right here in front of him. Yeah. So I'm going to do this now, so you can see it better. I'm going to darken that in a little bit. Now, when I go to paint, I will lock these colors in for the different items, just so I get an undercoating of paint on there. It'll be a color close to what it will be in the final. There's a label on this bottle, partial label here we'll see. Maybe this one's this way. And maybe this one's down lower. And yeah. Woo! Okay. And then we have curtains here. And the curtains are curving out this way. Center. And have the folds in the curtains, which I'll paint in. It's all the way over to here, all the way over to there, and then we'll do some, let's do a little bit of cheese here. Cheese. I had him holding cheese, but I thought it'd actually be funnier if he was holding a glass of wine too. And what I will do is Swiss cheese. Let's see, this could be all the cheese, all crazy cheese. Piece of cheese here. Holes in it. Oh, hey, hidden Mickey. Not very hidden. And put some more cheese over here. You see the top of the cheese. So each piece of cheese I do, if it's square or even at a triangle, let's do one with a triangle, sort of shaped like a piece of pie. There we go. Is in perspective. One thing I learned when I was doing all of the architecture stuff. So, straight on this. Then we'll have crumbs everywhere. There's his tail. I will do corrections as I work on them to make them look even more like the actual figures. It's a scarf. Shoulder coming down there. That shoulder. Get that in. Okay. Now I'm going to actually stop for a minute. And how many of you have one of these? Ah, wait a minute. Yeah, when we had an FAO Shorts in downtown Chicago many years ago, our daughter-in-law, Sandy Ogren, bought this for us. Got some dog here. Bought this for me, and I wore it down Michigan Avenue with the wind blowing, and this thing was just spinning around. Yeah, nobody wanted to walk with me. I don't know. So, I thought I would read another chapter from The Design of Fear. This is the only other I read 2 chapters from each book. So next week, I may not read a chapter next week because Pam Turla will be on and talking about her book, but I will certainly show our books too, so you can buy all of our books. And this book is called The Design of Fear, an Artist's Hauntings and Creations from Walt Disney World's Haunted Mansion and Beyond. There is a long chapter in here early on in the book about the Haunted Mansion, and I'm doing a walkthrough. I'm not going to read that today because it's quite long. This chapter is chapter 5, called An Optical Delusion. I looked down at the moonlit river far below as it meandered through a valley. I could just make out the sheer cliff walls as they disappeared into inky blackness. Now, I should explain before I go any further, this is about all the haunted houses, not just the Haunted Mansion that I worked on, but all the haunted houses I did after I left Disney. And I actually designed and did one just this past year, which might be the last one I'm going to do because I'm so busy doing paintings, which is really fun. And for real, in just a couple of weeks or a few weeks here, I will be doing one painting that will be in black light on this show. So it's going to be real spooky and fun, and it should be real interesting. So I'll let you know a week ahead of time so you can get all your friends to watch RJ in the dark and black light. Now, so anyway, this is another haunted house I was at that I was doing. I could just make out the sheer cliff walls as they disappeared into inky blackness. I took a step on the bridge, and I had to grab the rope support to steady myself. The bridge swayed from right to left. Some planks in the rope bridge appeared to be either missing or broken, painted by me to look that way. At both ends of the bridge, I viewed the dense green foliage of a forest, dark, foreboding. Looking down at the bridge planks where I had already painted a black hole, in quotes, I envisioned the next thing to paint, a figure of a terrified woman who had fallen through the hole and was hanging onto the planks for dear life. So basically, it's like you're looking down at her and you're seeing her face look up at you, and she's grabbing on, trying to get back up onto the bridge. I set my paint, brushes, rags, and water container on the bridge and kneeled down in front of the plywood panel. Any movement, no matter how small, made the bridge move. My first task was to paint the image area with regular latex white paint, and it gives, this is in quotes here, it gives off a very dull, dark purple glow in UV lighting. That's regular house paint, white paint. You have to paint a white background on which to paint with black light paint, which requires an undercoat to work properly in UV light. As I finished the white primer coat, a loud voice behind me made me jump. "When are you going to be done?" He sort of sounded like that. I'm not kidding. Okay, as I continue, I'm thinking this. Don't say anything negative. Just smile. It's the owner, and he is paying a large fee for this. "Oh, hi, John," I said as I slowly stood up. The names have been changed to protect the strange. So when, he boomed again. I wonder if I had a hearing problem. He had a bass voice that always bellowed. His wife and co-owner of this haunted attraction stood beside him. She was thin, attractive, and smartly dressed. "Hi, RJ," she said in a soft voice. She smiled at me. "Hi, Stephanie. This looks beautiful," she said, "and I love the effect." "Thank you." John interrupted. "But when will it be done?" His overweight, 5-foot 10-inch frame and pudgy face seemed ready to explode. I'm thinking this. Come to think of it, he always looks like this. I can never figure out how these two stay together. I answered him in a calm voice. "Not much longer. I have this figure on the bridge and a few others to paint in the forest." John looked around. "Looks like a lot is left to do." "Well, not really," I said. I couldn't quite figure out what he was referring to. I should be done in just a few days. "I don't see how," he said, "but get it done. There are other rooms to work on." He didn't wait for me to reply, so he quickly turned and left the room. Wow, I thought to myself, he is suffering from an optical delusion. I turned to Stephanie. She gave me a smile. She said, "You're doing great, RJ. Don't let him rattle you. He's like that with everybody. Just keep doing what you're doing. See you soon." She left. I looked around the room. What did he mean when he said it looked like I still had a lot to do? I kneeled down and checked the white paint, totally dry. That was fast. And I wondered to myself if Mr. Blowhard, no, don't go there. I went to work painting the figure. My idea for this woman was that the guests would try to step around or over her thinking she was real, and that would cause the bridge to sway even more. I have to mention that this was in blacklight 3D, so you actually wore digital clear 3D glasses. So anything I was painting, it also looked like she was moving as you moved. Continuing, I had suggested to John that he have a costume employee, all in black, hide in a black area of this large room and jump out at guests to scare them. John didn't want to pay the additional salary for that, and instead asked me to paint a figure on plywood that his mechanic/electrician could mount on a motor to hide in the woods. It would lean out quickly from behind a tree or a black wall. This meant I had more work, except that it was mounted. I'm sorry. This might have worked, except that it was mounted on a slow, inadequate motor with no sound effect and just moved back and forth continually. A great scare relies on unexpected surprises on the part of the guest. This is an argument I've had with more than one owner of haunted attractions. So many times they want people in costume, usually bloody, to just stand in full sight in a room as guests walk through. The zombie or ghoul jumps around attempting to scare the guests, but the guests had already seen it coming. I don't think that's scary, but I had learned, working at WDW's attractions, like the Haunted Mansion, that to be effective, different levels of light must constantly affect the guest's eyes as they go through an attraction. Low light, black light, strobe light, colored lights, or total darkness. Think of an everyday experience. It's the middle of the night. You get up out of bed and go to the bathroom. You can see as you make your way because your eyes are adjusted for the darkness. Turn on the bathroom lights. Ow, bright. You squint, your eyes adjust slowly. When you leave the bathroom, turning out the light, you suddenly can't see anything. This is what the guest experience should be in a haunted attraction in order to enjoy it to the fullest. That is why when you go through the Haunted Mansion, you get different types of lighting in different rooms. It's constantly affecting your eyes so that you can't fully adjust to the dark, and it makes it much more effective. And continuing on. So, back to the figure on the bridge. I was happy with the woman figure when I finished. She looked as if she would fall to her death if she lost her grip on the bridge planks, plummeting 1,000 feet or more into total darkness. In reality, the bridge was only 2 feet off the floor. Something small ran across the floor below me, its feet making small clicking sounds. The hairs on the back of my neck stood out. I looked but saw nothing, thinking to myself, I will stay on the bridge a while longer. Wish I had my flashlight. Maybe I could reach the work light switch. No, I'd have to step off the bridge to the floor where it is lurking. I'm not afraid of the dark. I'm afraid of what's in the dark. I thought of the flashlight again. Normally, I didn't use one because it would affect my eyes when I was painting in UV light. Then I thought of something more terrifying. What if I did have the flashlight, turned it on to scan the room, looking for the skittering it, and I found it. But all I would see would be two beady eyes glowing in the flashlight beam and staring at me, evil, deadly. Again, the hair rose on the back of my neck. I'm sorry, I'm having fun laughing at myself. Decision. I'll stay on the bridge a while longer. I heard it run across the room again. New decision. Run to the work light switch. I stepped off the swaying bridge and hurried to the wall. Damn, the switch is on the other wall. I ran into the next room and bumped into a hanging ghoul. A banging ghoul? Hanging ghoul. Not as scary. I knew what that was. I hurried to the emergency exit door and burst out into the Florida sunshine. Yay! The door closed slowly. Nothing followed me out. I must have looked like a frightened madman, but as I looked around, I didn't see anyone else. I walked around the building, went back into the main entrance. Hi, RJ. It was Frank, the engineer electrician walking up on my right. He was smiling. He was always smiling. It seemed fake to me. I thought you were painting in the forest, he said. I am. Just needed a break. Still smiling, he said, oh, okay. I watched him walk away. That's a very strange man, I thought. Creepy, as if he had a slimy secret. I saw Ed, the elderly maintenance and construction worker across the lobby. Hey, Ed, I called out as he walked over to him. As I walked over to him. Hi, I said. Ed smiling. What did I say? Hi, said Ed, smiling. I need new glasses. He wasn't creepy. His smile was genuine. I liked it. He said, you look like you've seen a ghost. And I said, yeah, sort of. Something small. At least I hope it's small. It's running around in the forest room. It scared the crap out of me. Would you mind coming with me and to check it out? Sure, he said. Okay. You okay? Yeah. Flashbacks? He asked. Yeah, I said. Understood, said Ed. Ed was a Korean War vet. I'd been in Vietnam. He understood. We turned on the work lights as we entered the forest room. Nothing. You okay? Ed asked. Yeah, thanks. I am now. Whatever it was is obviously gone, I hope. Probably in the next room, Ed said and laughed. Yeah, thanks a lot. Now I won't be able to go in the next room. Want me to stay here with you? Said Ed. What? And hold my hand? No, I'm fine. Okay, Ed said as he walked out. Just scream if you need me. He turned out the work lights as he left. I wish I could work with them on, but black light painting must be done in the dark with only UV light. I finished the work on the bridge and heard no more scary sounds. Done for the day. When are you going to paint this forest? John's booming voice the next morning. What? I said. It is painted, I replied. As I told you yesterday, I just have a couple of figures left to paint. John looked around and turned back to me. There's no color in here, damn it. Fix it. He stormed off. Stephanie had come in with John, but remained in the room when he left. She smiled at me as I said, I don't understand. He says there's no color. What? And then it hit me. He's colorblind, isn't he? She grinned. Yes, he is. Which means, I said, he can't see green. To him, the forest looks like shades of gray. Yes, she said. Why didn't you tell me before? I asked. She said, he doesn't want anyone to know. But that's stupid. I stopped myself. Sorry. Stephanie shook her head. It's okay. Is there anything you could do so he will see more colors? Yes, I can do something, but it will take a couple more days. That's okay, she said. I'll tell him you're putting more color in the forest. I set about adding different colors to the foliage and putting in more branches and vines that I could paint various colors. Hey, this looks great. Finally. John turned, taking in the whole room. I like it. Now, on to the other rooms, right? Right, I said. He left. Stephanie had a big smile on her face. A purple forest? Hey, I said, whatever works. I heard an unwanted, now familiar sound on the floor. It was back, and Stephanie had heard it. What was that? She asked, her eyes darting around the room. Nothing, I said. I took her by the arm. Time to go. Leaving the purple forest together, I shouted, Ed! End of chapter. It doesn't take, I do stuff to scare people. It doesn't take much to scare me. So, anyway, let's see. Sarah. Oh, hi, Sarah. Um, Michael and I decided that made up Disney labels are the ticket. We will collaborate. Oh, you want me to put made up Disney labels on the wine bottles? I like it. Clever. Okay, we'll do that. Start thinking of some label ideas you want. When is it going to be done? This painting I expect to be done with by the end of next week. That's the plan. So I make sure I don't have any interruptions. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to put in a little bit of color. Yes, undercoating. So I actually will do a little bit of painting. These curtains. Yeah, I told you I wasn't going to paint. Here I am. Are red tones, so I just want to get a base coat on here. Makes it that much. I hope you like me reading those chapters. I like to try to read them before I read them to you, and then I never have time. So it's sort of a cold reading. There we go. Yes. These curtains will be much darker, but this will be a nice base color. If you don't put block in some colors, it does two things when you do this. One, you get to see the balance of the colors and the painting and what you're doing, but you also fill in all this. When this paint dries, it shrinks a little bit. And you go back after it's dry and you see little white spots of the canvas through the paint. So if you're trying to paint it right on the canvas the first time, and you're not going to do another coat over that, it usually doesn't work, unfortunately. So by doing this, like I said, I can see my colors. And when I paint the final colors on here, I won't have those little white spots. So, tipped wine glass. And John. Had to really work to find anything with him smiling. I had to create that. And the way his head was turned. And I do paint around the edges of the paintings, as I'd mentioned before. All right. This is easy stuff. You know what my first paintings were when I was a kid? And sadly, only some of the older people might know this. I don't even know if you see these anymore. But remember the paint by number kits you could buy? It would be a landscape or whatever, and it had, the whole picture was drawn with little tiny areas that you painted different colors. And when you got done, you had this nice painting. Of course, you could tell it was paint by number. But I love those things. I thought they were great. Memories. Okay. Oops, there's another bottle there. I didn't draw it in. I'll leave a space for one. And yes. This is about how fast when I paint with a big brush when I'm painting a set for a play, or I'm painting the rooms in our house. And we are going to paint the rooms in this house in the spring. We've picked out the colors, nice, soft blues, etc. Almost pastel, but not icky pastel. No, what's icky pastel? So, but my studio is going to be red, Disney red, I call it. Suzanne said, "Why are you going to paint it? You got so many things on the wall, you can't even see the wall." But I can see some of it. It'd be nice. So I'm going to, no, I'm not. I'm still here. Anyway, curtain color. Oh, well, that's cool. These columns are, I'll have to check that, but they're actually in the red tones too. So I'm going to do this. When we had Pam and Ben over the other night, it came up about us being friends with Bob Ross. We were just at the store this morning and saw a chia pet of Bob Ross. A bust of, I got paint on my hand. A bust of his head, and the hair grows. If Bob was still alive, he'd probably find that extremely funny. So anyway, all right, I'm going to stop. Make myself laugh. But they hadn't realized that years ago, when Suzanne and I were helping run the James Best Theater and professional acting school for stage and screen, with veteran actor James Best, who most of you know as the sheriff on Dukes of Hazzard. He had the cowboy hat. And you know, who's the sheriff? Guess he was deputy. Anyway, but then Bob Ross walked in one day and wanted to take some acting classes. Little did we know at the time that until we became good friends, that he was doing this because they were developing a show in Branson, Missouri, that he was going to have a humongous canvas on stage, all the way across the stage, and he was going to paint with these big, oversized brushes and finish the whole painting during the show. So I guess for an hour and a half or 2 hour show, he would paint, and they were going to have dancing girls and a big orchestra and all these musical numbers. And sadly, he passed away before it got off the ground. But anyway, he had me come to the studios where he was actually in Indianapolis. And I made two, and I believe these are still the only two cartoon videos that you can buy through Bob Ross. So there, everybody else does painting ones. I had two of me drawing. Now, just so you know, if you're going to go buy these, this is very basic drawing. One, of course, the rabbit and the guy, and I changed their features to make them smile, laugh, be angry, whatever, and put in some color with it. And I think each one's only a half an hour long, but they were fun to do. And so I'm going to switch to another color here and put some black in if I can find my black. Ah, look at that first thing. I'm going to take it right out of that tube. And this behind him is black because it's nighttime. So I'll put that in. This particular black I bought is pretty good. It covers really well. I use Winsor Newton acrylic paints, and but I wasn't happy with the black because it was so thin. And I happened to have a tube of this black around, and I tried it, and I went, well, that's much better. Gee, always learn something new. And it's actually from Blick. It's their brand, but it's quite good. So I'll buy theirs. Okay. And that's all we want on that. So close that up. And then I can put in some white. If I can find some here. It's all my little things. Oh, there's. We'll just do it right again, right out of the tube. Yeah, these are called Blick Studio acrylics, which even this white is much better. So I'm going to put this on the. Oops, I painted right to the bottom. That's right. I can still see it. So I want to get this tablecloth that's actually not pure white, but this will be a good base color to put on here. And I have to remember there's a lamp here. Another bottle back there. What's that lamp? Okay, I can go over to there. That's all right. It probably will take me longer to paint the wine bottles. I wasn't even in the picture. I was over here. You didn't want to see me. So, okay. And like I said, next week it's going to be a lot of fun. I will paint in the first half hour on, and actually I may be finishing this painting up on the show next week. So, which would be pretty neat. Okay, let's plan that. I'll try to get this done so that that's exactly what we're doing next week. And then in the second half of the show next week, I have our good friend Pam Turwell coming on, and we're gonna, or she's gonna talk more than me, but she's gonna discuss her new book called Mystical Mouse, which is published by Theme Park Press, the same publisher that we have for our books. And we have been friends with Pam and her husband Ben for 5 years, 6 years, and I've done numerous plays with them. They're fellow actors, and Pam is also a professional voiceover artist. So she is a lot of fun, and that will be, we'll have a great time with that. Now, okay, let's see if anybody else asks a question here I can answer. Oh, Sarah, you're very excited about the painting. Oh, thank you. That's good. Oh, thanks, Sean. Such beautiful work. I'm saving up to buy something beautiful from you. Well, thank you. I look forward to doing that. Oh, yes, there's a Bob Ross board game. I saw that. It was hysterical. This would be a lot of fun. Well, hello from Sedona. Is that pronounced Sedona or Sedona, Arizona? Hi. Let's see here. Okay. All right. It's going to not move on me. So anyway, I'm going to finish putting this in real quick. So yeah, please join us next week for the show. And all of you, please, if you didn't hear earlier, go and join my new group, which is called Paintings and Stories with R.J. Ogren. And in a few weeks, when we have a lot of you on there, that's actually where I will start broadcasting from. How clever of me. I'm painting around his tail, by the way. And you can see it going a little bit gray because of the pencil marks, but that's all right. It's another reason to do the base color, because I paint over those pencil lines, and once the paint dries, and then I can put the final coat on, and it goes right over that. You don't even see it. All right. Now, I have a big weekend because my alma mater, University of Miami, is like number 8th, 9th, 10th, somewhere in there. And won 7 games, yay! And we play Virginia Tech tomorrow night, and it's our homecoming. And why they picked to play Virginia Tech on homecoming, I don't know. But keeping our fingers crossed. Everybody, it's been so much fun again. I'm going to sit here and finish my coffee, which is now cold, as usual, and have one of my cookies as soon as I turn off the stream. Yes, I made these cookies. Oh, shut up. Everybody, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. May all your Disney dreams come true.